Hello and welcome to episode 13, the final episode in our series of videos that have explored backstage and the scene shop here at the Norfolk State University Drama and Theater Department. Today we are going to explore a little bit about our rigging system and the various components of control. I'm going to explore a little bit of the rigging that keeps the pipes in the air and how those rigging picks are terminated, and some of the hardware on our battens. Here we have our quick touch rigging controller. This is how we control our line sets raising and lowering. The quick touch rigging controller has numbers here that go from 1 through 24. We only utilize 14 of those numbers. The rest of them don't have anything attached to them. If I want to move a line set with this system, I highlight, or select rather, the button for that line set. If we take a look a little bit closer at the screen here, it now gives us a few statistics about what is happening with this line set. So it tells us that it's line set 9. It says GP5, which is our 5th line set upstage from plaster line. It tells me that the height of the batten that is controlled by this line set is currently 12 foot 1.5 inches off the ground. It also tells me that there is 1,216 pounds on that line set, and that there is one trim loaded on this line set at 23 foot and 1/8 of an inch. All of our line sets move at a speed of 29 feet per minute. We are unable to adjust that. So they all move at the same speed. If we look down at the lower quadrant of the rigging controller here, you see there is a slider here. This actually doesn't do anything with our system. If we had a different system, we would be able to change the speed at which the winches run with that slider. Our system, it doesn't affect it at all. There is a red button that has a gold highlight to it around it. That is the emergency stop for the rigging system. There's also a connection here for a remote control, so we would be able to walk away from the rigging controller here and still operate the system. With this button, these buttons are up and down. Obviously, we'll take the batten in and out. If we take another quick look at the LCD display here, if I hit the trim button here, this gives me the option to be able to record a low trim, 3 intermediate trims, and a high trim. The trim, there's only one recorded on this batten right now, and I've selected it. That's 23 and 1/8 of an inch off the floor. So this is the height that the pipe will stop at when we move it to that trim. Okay, over here I have one of our storage pipes. In production, we would use this for scenery if we needed to. It runs the full distance of the stage. It's got lights over its entirety. Our line sets here are picked by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different aircraft cable picks. Here we have a close-up of one of the devices that we use for adjusting the trim on the line set on the aircraft cable pick here. So with this bolt here, we're able to either drive it in or drive it out, which puts more or less tension onto this aircraft cable here, and that will result in it lifting or lowering this batten clamp here. This is a really neat feature of our rigging system because it allows us to have some flexibility in the leveling of our battens without having to change the aircraft cable picks or have turnbuckles installed on it. Okay, I've brought us up to the crossover so that we can look at a different kind of batten we have rigged in here. The other kind of batten we have here are dead rigged battens. This means that we don't have the ability to raise or lower them. The aircraft cable is rigged from the pipe to the grid, and there's no motor connected to it. The reason that I wanted to talk about these dead rigged battens is because right here it demonstrates everything that we've just talked about in terms of rigging in class. This gold chain is known as grade 8 chain that is rated for overhead rigging and lifting. It is stamped with an identifier, and because it's gold colored, we know that that's what it is. You can see the chain is choked around the pipe here. This is what I was talking about in class about how I wrap the chain twice around the pipe before I come back to the shackle. If I get up close here, you can see the shackle. If I come around the side here, you can see here is the thimble with, this is 1/4-inch aircraft cable, and this is the swage that I was talking about. It's a compression fitting that's copper that you sleeve the aircraft cable through and crimp it down with what's called a nickel press tool, and then that's what holds it from slipping through. And again, here the thimble just creates a nice rounded shape for the shackle and the rigging chain to be connected to, that helps stop the turn in the aircraft cable from producing a kink and breaking the individual wire rope components of the aircraft cable. The black box that you can see, it's a little hard to see, but it says Prodigy on the side of it. That is the motor that controls the line sets running in and out. Over here on the wall, stage right, is another emergency stop for the rigging controller. If you were to hit that button, it would cut power to all the line sets so nothing could move anymore. Thank you for watching this episode of Tool Time with Professor Levy. This has been the final episode in a series of investigative videos into how the backstage areas of the theater here at the NSU Theater Company operate. I hope you have found this series enlightening and have learned a few things from it. Thank you again.